Why single female homeowners are in debt and single men don't buy homes. This one is off the coffee pod. It's been coming across my feed a lot lately, and I thought, hey, why don't you just go on ahead and talk about this? Because it's kind of crazy right now. But let's start it over.
I'm just here to say that being a homeowner as a single woman is not what's up. Currently dealing with a situation in the backyard. That is a whole puddle right there. My pool is just covering it so the dogs will stay out of it. However, a dog still gets into it. I don't know what to do. I'm not responsible enough. And that's why having a husband would be really nice because that's...
I'm not even going to say nothing. Hold on.
So I read an article today that said the majority of home buyers these days are single women. First things first, women, kudos on that. Very, very proud of you guys. Men, we have to catch...
City girls are up 1,000 points on this one. We did a big one, and he is 100% right. Single woman here. Hey, y'all. Hey, I am a mortgage loan officer, and I have purchased not only one, but two homes in my lifetime, both times as a single woman. I have one child. I have never been married. And I did not have a co-applicant. That was a boyfriend.
So, number one, ladies, this is why they continue to drain y'all of y'all pockets and continue to put y'all into insurmountable debt, because they cater to y'all's ego and get y'all to go out there and spend y'all money in the name of we don't need a man. But number one, I want to know which one is it. Where y'all getting this money from? Either because all I see is people complain about how they can't buy a house, and now all of a sudden, oh, women out here just doing the thing and buying up all the houses. Which one is it? Because they just did a survey, and the average American doesn't even have $1,000 saved up, but somehow all these women got money to buy houses. I'm just trying to figure out which one is it. Not to mention she's a loan officer, so that's a conflict of interest on her being on TikTok and selling y'all shit anyway. Clearly, she trying to get some more applicants. But I'm just trying to figure out which one is it. Do y'all got this money or y'all broke? Can y'all get a house or y'all stuck paying rent? Oh, she explains how.
House, or that $400,000 house. They are so prepared for home ownership. I don't know if men feel intimidated. I don't know what it is, but not only are they getting to it, they're getting to the bag by having not just one, but two full-time jobs.
Oh.
Now, another conversation for another day, or we can talk about it right now. Why are women having to work two full-time jobs? Like, where are the men in the equation?
Well, they work them because they want to, right?
Right.
And there's no men in the equation because they don't want them. And there they go with the intimidation tactic, like trying to scare men or shame men into accepting just that they tend to be terrible people. Most men don't buy a house simply because most men only get a house is when they have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Period, point blank. If there's no family, there's no need for a man to have a house. We don't need that shit. So if I don't have a family, I'm not going to buy a house. Women now think buying a house is a status symbol. It's like, just like degrees, just like with everything else.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point.
That's an awesome point. I mean, an awesome point. But anyway.
And he's going into the degrees aspect of it, right? It's to look like. Same reason why they'll overlook men in trades, because even though he'll make more money, it doesn't look like. Crazy shit.
Just checking the box, and half of them buy houses without doing the proper research, and then a year later complain because their mortgage went up and they got problems in their house that they can't afford to pay for. You see it on TikTok all the time.
Right.
Oh, the story time of how I regret buying a house. Home ownership isn't what I thought it was going to be. We see it all the time from these very same women.
Right.
They look at buying a house as a thing. That's it. Something that they can brag to everybody about, say, yeah, girl, I did that. Just another thing to say, yeah, I got a master's degree. I'm a homeowner. It's just another title to add to their list of things to put in front of the face of people that ask, well, why don't you have a man? Why aren't you married? Well, because they intimidated because I got a degree and I'm a homeowner and I'm a boss. And meanwhile, you just don't know how to be with a man. And 9 times out of 10, that's all you are those physical things and those titles. Nothing outside. If you got to work 2 full-time jobs in order to pay for a mortgage, you shouldn't be getting that mortgage.
Okay.
People like her aren't going to tell you that. Because at the end of the day, they trying to sell you something.
Right.
Yeah, it's the reason why women, especially black women, hold the most insurmountable debt. Not debt, but insurmountable debt, which is debt you cannot afford to pay for. Because people like her and the dude before are going to cater on y'all egos and force y'all into predatory type lending and situations. See it all the time.
This man said we need to catch up. It makes sense to people that don't interact in the real world. But the real answer to this is most men only get houses to start a family. Like if you look at every and any couple, the man get a house for his family. The man gets the house because his woman told him it's time to get a house. And I think most people get houses without realizing the responsibility that comes with owning a house. At my apartment, if something wrong with my air or my heat, I can call my property manager. If there is something wrong with your air, your heat in your house, you gotta pay for that. I don't want that right now. You gotta pay for that. And Lord, let's hope it ain't nothing dramatic or extravagant, because that shit gonna run you a new AC unit, heater, and all that shit together can be between like 3 to 15 stacks. Like there is more to owning a house than to just say you got a house, because like that shit costs a lot of money. And as a single man, there's like really, to be honest, like no rush to want to get a house.
I really, really wish a...
Hold on, y'all. So I don't want to go through the whole coffee pod thing. I think that you all can go there yourself and take a look, and tell Chisha or Mr. Zed that Vetinga sent you, and yeah. But look, this is my point, right? So what I'm hearing is I don't see anything wrong with a single woman going out and buying a house. I think everybody should own a property, and maybe if we were 15 years ago, 20 years ago, let's say 20, a good 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't be saying that. And the reason why is because I know myself, I know how to do plumbing. I know how to do electrical. I've never hooked up a power box to a house, the main box with all the breakers in it. I've never hooked that up, but I've ran wiring throughout a house. I've wired up outlets, fans, lighting, all kind of stuff, under a licensed electrician who did that part or had somebody else do it and he'd overlook the work. I just never got to that point, right? Plumbing, flooring. I have a property. I even jumped on a roof and removed rotted boards. I mean, rotted boards. Maybe one day I'll throw some video up here to show you guys. But I've even replaced rotted boards, a bunch of stuff. I know my way around the house. I'm also an automotive mechanic. I know a lot of stuff, and I'm not scared to learn something. In other words, get off of it. What I'm trying to say is this. In this day and age, compared to 20 years ago, we have YouTube. On YouTube, there's almost any topic you can think of is on YouTube. You would be amazed what's on YouTube. There's things on YouTube you would think should not be on YouTube. But YouTube is a wealth of information, right? It's one of my greatest resources today. The reason why is because I will run into things I do not know, but because I've learned how to use my hands, and my brain ain't, it's not bad. I can use it, and learn some stuff. So I can go on YouTube, for example, and see my water heater stopped working. How to fix a water heater. Just type this in because my water heater stopped working. And when I go on here, I'll start finding my symptoms. This is what's going on. That's what's going on. Yep, that's it. Let me look at this video. Okay, let me go look at the video while I'm looking at the item. Let's look at the water heater. Okay, what did he do? Turn that off, do this, do that, do this, do the third. It lit up. Oh, okay, cool. Give me my money, I'm gone. See, I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I walked in that door, but, so all I'm saying is this, right? The lady with the leak in the backyard, maybe you have to go get dirty and figure that out, and you can fix it, right? Any other issue around your house, same thing. There's plenty of women online on YouTube that are doing all of these things, right? Now, do they want to do it? Nah. But do you want to be held subject to somebody else's rate? Nah. Do you get what I'm saying? That's one thing. My biggest problem though is, and this is something that a lot of people have been looking at me crazy over the last 20 years now, because I, for some reason, keep seeing homes well under $100,000. You know, there's a home of every price for everybody who's looking, for the most part, somewhere. Now, here's the problem. What I've run into is that a lot of people are looking into certain areas, and if they can't get in this certain area, then they don't want a home. Okay? And that makes me question, why is there so many people with that mentality? Right? Okay, cool. But I understand a lot of people don't know how to use their hands. They don't use their brain to learn how to use their hands to make their life a little easier. Understood. However, I'm telling you like this, dirt raw. I literally have found a property just the other day that was 49 minutes away from the Jonesboro, Georgia area. Right? $40,000. 3 acres of land, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. It's got a she shed in the back and a nice carport. Right? All of this, of course, it needs some touching up, some paint. I'm sure I would want to go through the plumbing. Eventually, I would change the wiring in the house. You know, I might upgrade the roof. Over time, there's some things I do to that property, but damn, you picked it up for 40 grand. That's one. These improvements over time, even if I have to go and find a licensed electrician and have them come out just to oversee what I'm doing, because I'm going to read the books for code. I'm going to look online and find ways to do things so I can visually see it, because I'm a visual person. Like, I guess a lot of people are. And I'm going to do all the things that I can do. And then I'm going to have him or her come and oversee it and make sure I hooked everything up right before we run power in here. See, and this is a good thing for me, because over time, I know how to fix my stuff when something goes bad now in my house, right? And a lot of this stuff is not really a big deal. It's just work. And we all are willing to work. If you can work 2 jobs to have something, then damn it, you can learn something and do a little better. So women can do this. However, like my wife, who I've been with for the last 15 years, told me the other day when it came to a property we were in that was built out of cement, cinder block. She hated that place. And the reason why is because she couldn't just easily hang stuff up. She couldn't just knock a hole in the wall and, put this thing up there. She had to drill, put it in the plastic rivet. She didn't like the way they used the drill. It was too manly for her, and using it is all this dirt and stuff flying in her face because she's short, she wants high, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But there are plenty of women that do it. But she don't want to do that. And guess what? She doesn't have to, because all she had to do is wait for me to get off from work and then tell me, babe, can you do this for me? And maybe it didn't get done today, but it got done, because I get tired of hearing her asking me to do it for her. I know I should have been did it. Hell, I just be tired sometimes, right? Yep. But here's the bigger kicker, right? Get on Zillow and look at housing over the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Do you see the difference in one address over a 10, 20, 30, 40-year span? So in other words, I have a grandmother. She's in Miami. Well, she passed away, but she lived in Miami, Hialeah, Florida. And when she bought her house, I'm sure she paid around 40 grand for it or less. But because my mother grew up, pretty much grew up in that home. That's the only home I ever knew her to have. She passed away in it. My grandmother's home today is almost $400,000. My mother owns a home. She paid $89,000 for it. She ended up saving somebody from foreclosure. It's $170,000 home, and she got it for $89,000. It was only, I think, about 10 years old at the time. And that house today, which is only 15 years ago now, is worth almost $300,000. So it's gained $100,000 in value over the last 10 years. Any work you put into your home normally comes back to you as long as you don't overdo the work. because your home can only be what the neighborhood is worth, basically. Does that make sense? So home ownership is scary for me. Number one, that people are thinking that home ownership is a bad thing. Number two, there's all this talk about them making you want to own nothing and be happy. You will rent and lease everything. It seems to me like there's a movement going on right now that's telling people that, hey, don't invest in homes. Don't invest in real estate. That's too much. Just rent, right? Which will cause you to own nothing and be happy. Number three, I don't know where I'm at, but nowadays, how can I put it? Okay, number one, let's start over again now. Let's go back. So, first off, foremost, if you can get a loan for $300,000 and you took the minimum you can take of that loan, so if they said you had to use at least $100,000 to get the loan, well then let's look for some 40, 50, 60, something under 100,000. No. Let's see. Maybe you use some of it if you can get it to rebuild some of the home, renovation, so that you can start renovations before you move in, change some shit up, make it look better, right? If not, then let's just find a good $100,000, $125,000 home to start with, right? Our down payment is going to be a lot less. We can save the rest of the down payment that we were going to use for paint and whatever else little things I want to change definitely before I get in, before I move into it, even though I may own it now. Technically the bank own it, but you know what I mean. Now you're only paying a third of what you would have been paying. And if you could have, or you felt you could have afforded to pay that full, balance of a $300,000 loan, then won't you go on ahead and take another third, right? A third of that. So now you're spending 2/3 of what you would have spent, but a third of that, and throw it into some mutual funds, or, get a Robinhood or some kind of accounts, apps where you can invest in stocks and stuff, and just dump money into good stocks, into things that you see are there and they ain't going nowhere, and put a little bit of it, split it up. Put some in this, some in that, and some in the bank. And you just do that every year, right? So let's say on $100,000 you was going to be paying $1,000 a month. Let's just make it even. Let's say if on $100,000 you're paying $1,000 a month, and on $300,000 you were paying $3,000 a month. Right now you're basically paying $2,000 a month, right? But you're paying something that you can pay off quicker if you wanted to, because that extra money every year that saves up, you can throw that into the balance, bring your time down. As long as you got a penalty-free loan, you can pay it off before time, penalty-free. Let's see. So that's $2,000 a month. You're saving $1,000 a month, right? That you can go live your life with now, right? That $1,000 a month that's getting put up in a year's time is $12,000. You can throw $6,000 on everything, keep $6,000 going, because this year you're going to do the same thing, right? Meaning at the end of this year, you can have $18,000 on the second year, right? Am this making sense to you now? So something goes bad, you fix it. You can pay somebody else to come in. The house is paying for itself, right? And over time, 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, the house might be paid off by now, right? And when that house is paid off, when you sell it, anything that you put into it, you're going to get it back, as long as you've been taking care of that home, as long as you've been doing the updates and everything else to that home. And in some cases, not even. I feel like something's going on and we're getting tricked. And just tired of seeing it. Anyways, that's all I had to say today. Peace.